Get back to work. Go on.
Hey everybody, Gears here, and this is a collection of photos I've been taking since I smashed the glass and started installing the droid trench into the back of my car. While I haven't shot a lot of video, I have been pretty much getting a lot of quick photos with my camera as I've gone along. And just smashing the glass alone took about 2 or 3 hours one day, and then that night I did up this cardboard mock-up here. Really, having the glass in the way for the previous prototypes is why they always wound up being off-size and incorrect. But yeah, this came out really promising. It was relatively easy to do. 4 basic pieces, 2 walls, a floor and a back wall. Oh, and of course the other back wall, right there, the small guy that leads to the end of the trunk. Now, if I had had different tools, then I could have done this as a single piece of aluminum and just folded the corners up to each other. Basically, I didn't have a length of anything that would be long enough to bend accurately at close to a 90-degree angle. The pieces that they would need to, there'd be some curvature in there that really would negate the flat effect of the aluminum overall. And having some free space in my trunk is going to be nice because the old prototypes were always riding inside, of course, and now it'll be outside. I definitely got a good amount of pictures of the cardboard stage of it, and resetting that really helped me a lot figure out how things were going to go. The final piece hasn't turned out exactly like this, but it's pretty close, and this was definitely a great guideline for it. Then finally into the first aluminum pieces. So I disassembled the cardboard, traced those pieces onto the aluminum, and then cut from there. And this is basically what they looked like taped together. Next up would be using a Luma weld to get all the seams going. As you can see here, it's the 3 sides, and now I'm trying to place the floor and figure out where the droid gets cut. I had thought I could install the floor first, however, since I had an underbed to create for that the droid would be sitting in, it just made more sense to cut the hole in this sheet, do the underside, and then weld all the pieces together. In welding some places, the heat was enough to pop welds on others, so fighting that was always a process, and it turns out that the propane torch created so much heat that the aluminum bent in a lot of places and distorted everywhere. So that threw all the straight lines off and essentially required what's going on up to 5 buckets, 128-ounce buckets of Bondo. I'm on my 5th one now, or about to be. And of course here we have Apple sitting in place on top of his pine round body, and I just wanted to get a lot of shots from various angles to see how he was going to look. He will be riding slightly higher than that, by an inch or 2 it looks like. So I'll definitely have to get aluminum hollow projectors for the top of his head eventually, and I can probably hold off on the others because those can go for $110 each. So as you can see here, the heat distorted the aluminum a fair amount and ripples everywhere, so the only choice really was to get some Bondo at $20 to $25 a bucket. It's pretty much standard rate. I had thought I'd get away with 1 bucket, but then 2 became 3 and 3 is 4, and the 5th one stands ready for me now. Initially I was gooping it all into place with those painting sticks, but in the last few layers I've switched over to proper plastic scrapers, but not scrapers, trowels essentially. And here's a quick mock-up when I had apples in the car there. I did a layout of all the pieces and figured, what the heck, let's cut this piece of cardboard and see how a wing might look. It's pretty freaking promising, I can tell you that. And with a first layer of primer to see where I was at with everything. This was definitely still at a very messy stage, and I hadn't sealed up the back of the trunk there either yet. The lower walls remain gapped and needing something done with them. Here's a good section of photos with everything in place for reference. Turns out with the back window I should have cut the longer length at the top and the shorter at the bottom. It's upside down technically. I only just realized that looking again at some reference. So I can either cut the window more, or at this point just leave it as is and not worry about it. I like having that little round thing behind the driver's head, left of the window. Or port side, I should say. Yeah, but all these little toys, they have their places, and I detail those in the videos. And taking that cardboard wing, here's a sneak look at a full quarter scale X-wing wing that will go onto my car. The gun is about 4 feet long, the engine cans are 15 inch, the wing is 24 inches across the front, 25 in the back. The whole thing is probably about 10 inches to a foot tall, and I'm even doing details on the underwing. It's really awesome. More photos of that, not a single shot of video done of the wings though, but wait till you see them going, it's gonna rock. Thanks for watching, see ya.